So now let's expand a little bit on your functions and maybe make them more practical for Motswana gore a tlhaloganye gore how go ta mo I guess delivering your mandate as the DPP. How come nako tse dingwe go ithele batho ba wara ka gore di case ga di prosecutiwe, di case di o ka re di a timela go tsa lebaka gore batho ba bone justice? How would you respond to that?
I think Botswana have to appreciate that a case starts by an investigation. A case starts by an investigation by a respective investigating agency, be it the Botswana Police, the DCEC, any other investigating authority. They conclude their investigations and then they submit a case docket, a prosecution docket to the DPP for consideration. We analyze, assess evidence before us, then we go to court. That is quite a chain in terms of passage of time. A case happens today, there are so many things that you have to do for you to be able to come to a conclusion that first, there is a case against the suspect as an investigator. And once you have done that, you then take that to the prosecutor, the DPP, whether it is a DPP prosecutor or a police prosecutor, who assesses and then makes a determination, all right, do I want to go to court? And then when they have made a decision about they want to go to court, they then go to court and file a case for court against the suspect, and then bring witnesses and let the court decide. So it's a process.
So are you saying okay? So let's say I have lost a relative. Someone was killed, and so there's no predetermined time as to the length of how the investigation will take place, how long the investigation will take place, and how long the person will be brought before the court. So there's no determined time. We just have to go through the process that is undetermined by, I guess, other external forces.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question for this reason. Investigations naturally, because one, obviously, of resources, the police are spread across the country. Two, you have to get evidence, and evidence must be consistent, credible, and admissible in court. So there is evidence that must meet the test set out by the law, that you can actually establish a case beyond reasonable doubt, not a case founded on hearsay, on evidence that has been improperly acquired. And once you've assembled that body of evidence, which often takes time anyway, because there are so many things that you have to consider. In the case that you mentioned, you will have your pathology reports, and most Botswana don't actually know how the forensic pathology practice in Botswana is very limited. So for every case that there's a person has been killed, you take them to a pathologist to see what is the cause of death. Did the person die from the alleged act or from some other act? And obviously, it's a very complex exercise. You have to consult, you do your DNA searches to reconcile where you need to do your DNAs. You need to identify whether this person actually is the one is named X and not just some other random person. Collect all your witnesses, get them to say a consistent story. Where there are inconsistencies, ensure that those inconsistencies are ruled out before you present the evidence to the prosecutor, who then analyzes and says, am I satisfied?
Okay. So then, because sometimes it's difficult when say as well, and you go report, go police, and then say suspect, then they'll ask you or suspect among. You tell them, and then nothing has been done. What is the role of the DPP in that? In that kind of, I guess for me, that delay in judicial, service delivery, if I may call it that.
They will all call it the criminal justice system. Again, like I've said, the investigators must satisfy themselves, or one, a crime has been committed. Two, the crime has been committed by person X, again, before you compile the docket to submit. And then once that docket has been compiled and the investigators are satisfied, they submit it to the DPP's office. And the officers of the DPP's office must reach a determination about it. There's indeed a crime as defined in the law. So that the docket, the evidence in the docket meets all the elements of the particular case as set out in the law, and then take that case to court. And one must also appreciate that the courts are inundated with cases. They are overwhelmed with the amount of criminal cases that are filed there. And this takes time to dispose of, because you also have several role players. You have your witnesses, you have your accused persons, you have your magistrate or judge, you have your prosecutor, you have your defense lawyer, who must all agree to be in court on a particular day to start the case.
One of the things that we hear about as citizens, a docket has disappeared. How do dockets disappear from the DPP or before the case even goes to court, or while the case is in court? How does that happen? Because it's one of the reasons why people can lose trust in our criminal justice system.
Mamarape, the dockets don't disappear at the DPP's office. That doesn't happen.
Where do they disappear? Where do they disappear?
No, I'm saying I will not say not in this office, because obviously when a docket is received here, it is registered as a docket received. When it goes back for further investigation, it is registered as a docket sent out.
Okay. So go ke batla gore motswana a itse gore ha gona le rumors out there or allegations out there gore dockets disappear. It must be somewhere in the value chain, and not at the DPP or not at the police or not, but it must be somewhere. And not necessarily
because a docket obviously is a sensitive matter. This week, how it was in your pocket. You actually create a track of where your docket is. That's why we have registries, both from the Botswana police side or the BCPI side, which submit. And we record each and every trust that where there is a clear record, you know that this docket should be at this particular point in the value chain in the criminal justice system.
Anything maybe you want to add? Maybe something that I'm not asking that maybe Botswana must know when it comes to the issues, and it's just instituting, I guess, prosecutions as part of your mandate, issues of confiscation, issues of just providing advice to the police as well as the DPP before you go
apart from obviously prosecuting criminal cases, you also realize that the DPP has various other functions given by other specific laws. So, for instance, you always say the DPP has a function in terms of procuring extradition of offenders, both out of or into Botswana. We also help investigating agencies procure evidence from other countries. So the DPP is known as the Central Authority for Extradition, as well as the Central Authority for cross-border or transboundary acquisition or sending out of evidence. So we do that. We cooperate with other authorities in other countries.
maybe hela gongwe mo motswana o sa itse gore extradition ke gongwe o ka e tlhalosanyana ka bo
I get people commit offenses, and the tendency is that people, once you've committed an offense, the likelihood is that you want to run away. If you see and maybe you choose to go to Zimbabwe, and you must be brought back from Zimbabwe. And I'm just singling out Zimbabwe because it's one of our neighbors. It could be South Africa, it could be Namibia, it could be any other country. There are processes that must be followed to procure that person to come from Zimbabwe, to come and trial here. And we call that process extradition. It's a very formalized process where we must be able to demonstrate to the other countries' authorities what Mutore Matan is actually this person who did this and that and that. And the person we believe is located at such and such a place. Please put in place measures. And we do that by actually going to get a court order in the foreign country to say that this person may be sent out to where they are wanted. So how do you suspect the Motswana go Plum Tree? The very phone are Mapusa Plum Tree Zimbabwe. You must follow a well-defined process that says how do you bring that person in accordance with the legal rules and procedures. So Q&A lives under extradition.
All right. With that, thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back in 30 seconds. Remember to wash your hands, sanitize, and wear your mask when you're out in the public.